Hi. In this video, what we'll do is we'll cover something which I call as the bottleneck approach. So, what is this about? I find it to be one of the most effective way to actually go through a guesstimate when the situation of the guesstimates permit us to use this approach. So, how do we go about this? Imagine that you are eating golgappe or hot dog or something of a street vendor. A lot of times you have to wait for your turn, or you have to figure out how many golgappas or hot dogs this particular vendor can sell. In that case, you will find that there's only as much as that person can serve as he's able to produce and put forward, serve. Okay. Irrespective of the number of people that come to the hot dog stand, irrespective of that, whether it's 100, 500, 1000, 10,000, if that person can make and sell only, let us say, 20 hot dogs in 1 hour, that's all that he can sell, assuming that he's the only one who's working. So here we see that irrespective of the demand, that person is constrained because of his own condition. He has created a bottleneck for himself. Similarly, you might find that you have to wait outside a restaurant in some cases, right? So in that case, what is the bottleneck? Either the bottleneck could be that the number of tables and the chairs, the seating capacity that the restaurant has is less than the total amount of demand for the seating capacity. So the seating capacity turns out to be a bottleneck. We find that this can be a very effective approach to solve a lot of cases, especially the ones which are dealing with some sort of flow of information of people or of goods. Okay, we'll see a couple of examples of that in the upcoming two videos. Okay, so now how do you go about figuring out what is a bottleneck? Okay, so imagine that you have made the whole process for a particular operation. Okay, so in this case, if we take the case of a restaurant, the process would be that you have arrived at the restaurant, you have entered the restaurant, and then you're trying to find a place for yourself, right? You find that there is no constraint in the number of people who can enter, but there's definitely a constraint in the number of people who can sit. So while going through the whole process of your visit to a restaurant, you find the step which is creating the problem, which is creating the bottleneck. That could be one way of figuring out what a bottleneck in a bottleneck approach is. Otherwise, what you could do is, if you're doing a stakeholder analysis, if you're more comfortable with that, you could see which of the following, which of the stakeholders in your problem are actually creating that bottleneck. Okay, uh, think of it this way. Another way to think about this would be, okay, so let us say that a particular operation is catering to X number of people right now. Okay, if the number had to be increased to 50x, 100x, 500x, what is the first or the most fundamental thing that has to change about the operation to cater to this enhanced demand? Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's take two examples. We'll cover them in a lot of details in the following two videos, in the upcoming two videos, but let's try to look at what they are. So the first question is, estimate the number of flights that fly out of Delhi airport in a day. Try to solve this problem using a bottleneck approach and not any other conventional approach that you might think of. And the second problem is the number of people who, let us say, use the Rajiv Chowk metro station in Delhi, in CP, in a day. You will find that approaches which are other than the bottleneck approach tend to be quite lengthy in such a case and might require you to make a lot of assumptions, whereas this approach is much more cleaner and can lead to answers that you can have a higher degree of confidence about. But we'll see both of these solutions in detail in two upcoming videos. Thank you. Hope this was helpful. Do subscribe to this channel if you would like to be in touch with the upcoming videos. We'll see a lot more of the theory and many more examples.